Well, hello everyone. Hopefully you're having a great day or night wherever you're at around the world. It's another one, the Say What's on Your Mind podcast. I'm Greg Spin, and right now we have our first guest on the podcast. That's right. It's a young lady by the name of Shannon. She's going to be sharing what's on her mind, and she's new to America, and she's going to share some of her experiences with you. So hopefully you'll enjoy this. Let's get right into it.
We'll start off with about mid-April or so. It's kind of the first time in a long time that financially I'm doing okay. I'm doing better than okay than I've done in a long time. Since I've moved to America, it's been a bit of a struggle, but April was a time that I was like, I'm doing all right. I paid taxes, I had gone through a lot of DMV stuff, just a lot of money left in my hands, but still I was okay and I was comfortable with that. Then the school, University of Indiana. I want to say it properly because I want to call these assholes out. And I'm going to call you an asshole because of what I think about you. University of Indiana contacted me, specifically a girl there. Was like, I'm a great fan of yours. I want you to come speak at the school. Blah, blah, blah. She engages me in a month-long conversation of plans for this talk, this, that, and the third. It comes down to it. She sends me vendor agreements. She sends me multiple notices that it's going down. And she's like, no, it's going down. Book your flight. You're going to come. We'll reimburse you for your flight, plus give you your honorarium. Cool. So I'm like, all right, great. University's been good to me so far. So I booked the flight. Everything is cool. About 36 hours later, just past the 24-hour window, being able to get a refund for your flight, she writes me like, oh no, the event's canceled. So I got my flight money. Then I went through this horrendous period, which I still never got reimbursed for that flight. And that just taught me that some people will do anything to be in touch with somebody that they admire or someone that they like. Maybe she made the whole event up. I'm not really quite sure. But that isn't money that I had to be played with, sweetheart. So that was the beginning of money leaving my hands that, mind you, at the time, like I said, I was doing okay money-wise, but it was still the start of a very ugly past 2 months. So that happens, and then I make a decision, as I tell all of you guys, to invest in myself and go for my green card visa. I could have gone for my O1 visa, which is half the money and half the risk, because it's not as big of an investment and there's a lot more acceptances than declines when it comes to the O1. However, I had a very negative experience under my O1 because you have to be under a petitioner, which means that one person essentially is responsible for you being in the country. And I just want to be responsible for myself. I want to be on my own merit. On top of that, being on an O1 visa is kind of like being a convict. It's like checking that box at a job application. People are like, oh, can you also send us blah, 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 blah. One job, I had to send in a syphilis report. It's real serious. If they treat you like, oh, it's a dirty pair of underwear, put it over there. So I don't want that treatment. I want to be a resident. I want to work here. I don't want to raise eyebrows. I don't want anyone else responsible for me. I want to be here because I'm good enough. And so I think I'm good enough. I was so gung-ho on being good enough and being proud of myself and applying for this green card despite all odds until I had to write that check. And you can ask yourself the question, are you good enough? Do you believe in yourself? And you can say yes all day until you got to write that check down and it's your bank account attached to that number. And you're like, I think you are. I was panicking. But again, I was so proud of myself because I was able to invest this money and still be okay. I was going to be struggling, but I had enough money not to go into debt to pay for this big investment one time. Something also happened during this month. My skin was breaking out. I think it was just stress. So I decided to go on this birth control that I've used in the past. It really helps to clear my skin up. Not wearing makeup today, so it's been going pretty good. But the thing with this birth control is it makes you pregnant. For your first 3 months of being on it, it's identical to the first 3 trimesters. I'm sick every single day. Morning sickness, evening sickness. My boobs, that's the one good thing that's happened throughout all this Job tragedy. My boobs have gotten bigger. They're really nice. You can't see it in this shirt, but I've been enjoying them a lot. And on top of that, I'm moody. I have to sleep all the time. I have cramps. I'm taking pills way more often than I wanted to. So already May, as it was a very healthily struggling month. And on top of that, now I'm at the lawyer's office. I'm putting all this money down. I'm second guessing myself. Something miraculous kind of happened that day. I got offered a massive job, and a massive job, the biggest job I've ever been offered before by far. And this one's actually I'm gonna tell you that. Okay, I'm gonna tell you it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. But I got offered this job, and it's great because I got to add to my visa application, and this definitely helps to boost my case a lot. But it's also really nerve-wracking because of the fact that I'm now not only trying to stay in this country to work, but if I get declined, which is highly likely, I'll have to give up this job. So that just made this whole process even more stressful. So I hand over the money, hand over the application, and I give a prayer, a queasy prayer, because I feel sick as it is, and I've already given so much money, and I'm hella poor. I'm like, God, please just take care of this. Just take care of this and make my life easier. And just go. So I'm going through this time of like uncertainty. I can't control whether or not my case gets approved or declined. I paid for premium processing, so within 15 days I will get an answer, and that's kind of a reprieve for me. And then something random happens. I notice I have a bite on my back. I'm like, that's peculiar. There's not really a lot of mosquitoes in LA. I didn't go hiking. Why am I bitten? Well, whatever. 5 days later, a little bite on my neck. I'm like, why am I getting, that's weird. And I'm just like, okay, don't worry about it, it's whatever, you're probably just stressed out. And so I ignore it some more until I wake up to a leg covered in bites. And now I'm like, okay, there's a problem. And so I took all my bedding and I washed it, of course, and I flipped over my mattress, saw nothing, sprayed it down with bleach, thought, okay, that's that in the can. No.
All right, we're going to take a short break from what's on Shannon's mind. How about that? We'll be right back into it in 30 seconds. All right, Shannon, finish telling us about these bug bites. What's going on, girl?
Not only did I continue to keep getting bites, but the bites that I existently had were terrible. I've gotten some unbearable, I think I'm just very susceptible or maybe allergic to bug bites. Cat the bag, I had bed bugs. I think I'm allergic to bug bites on my legs. So like I've gone through sandfly bites where I couldn't wear shoes for like 3 weeks. I couldn't sleep at night. So I'm actually lucky I haven't experienced with this type of horrendous bodily attack. But these bites, they weren't getting better. Like they just kept growing and getting bigger and getting harder. And I was like, this is kind of pause for cause, but I don't have any money and I don't have health insurance. So we're just gonna let this go away. So we'll put some ice and Robitussin on it and just hope for the best. It's gonna work out just fine. Then, of course, I made the realization that I probably have bed bugs. And if you've seen my apartment before, that is, I don't know how. I don't have carpet. I don't have junk. I have almost like nothing in here. I have leather furniture. I don't even have drapes. I don't even have a rug. And I'm like, how could this be happening? How could it not me? And so I go on this obsessive thing of buying a lot of stuff. I bought a steamer, and I bought a balm, and I bought new sheets, and I just kept buying, and the bites weren't going away. I'd wake up every single day, and there'd be one across my wrist, one across my my chest up here. I had one on my neck. I had a bug bite on my face. I had one on my lip. I had one on my underarm. I had a bug bite, guys, in my asshole. Like, that kind of discomfort, I'm not sure if you understand. I was not sleeping. I couldn't trust sleep, one. And two, I was just so itchy and so irritated and just so frustrated and scared. I just couldn't go to bed at night. So I'm working on like 2 hours of sleep at this point, but still I'll wake up with bites same way. I'm on forums 24/7. I cannot stop. I'm obsessed. I know every single thing about these tiny, disgusting little creatures. And I truly know how people feel who go through some kind of, like Katrina, when their house is flooded and they stayed in that water and they stayed in that flood, even though everybody else evacuated. There's something about when your home or space is under attack that you're like, fuck no. Like, I'm standing my ground. On top of that, I'm not leaving to spread my infestation. And this is my home. I'm going to conquer this for myself. But I just kept getting crazier and crazier. On the Friday of Memorial Weekend, my bug bites at this point on my legs especially were at the point where I'm like, I think I really have to go to the doctor. Like, it had grown a goatee. It was after me for smokes. It was just like, this is not going away anytime soon. But I went out that day to an event because I just had to keep living. And I'm like, okay, cool, you know. And then I go to something with Amber from Amber's Closet. And I remember I said to her, I'm like, I got bed bugs, Amber. Like, I have to deal with them. And she was like, yo, just come out tonight. And tomorrow, just deal with it. So I'm like, okay, cool. Friday, I'll have an all right day. Saturday will be my shit day. Little did I know that I really prophesized that, because Saturday of Memorial Day weekend was probably the worst day of my life. I probably slept for half an hour that night. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I have to call an exterminator. I called the exterminators. The next one that could come out was Thursday. This is Saturday. Thursday. You want me to live in this infestation where I'm being eaten alive, eaten to death until Thursday. Okay, I'll see you on Thursday. Hung up the phone, bawled my eyes out, thought, okay, Shannon, you can't sleep, you can't focus, get on your computer and do some work. Open up my laptop and the internet doesn't work. I'm not talking about my router. My phone connects fine. For some reason, the internet on my computer didn't work anymore. So I tried doing all these things, and eventually I stopped making my computer work altogether by trying to make it work. And I am hysterical. I haven't slept. I have cramps. And then on top of that, the day before at night, I get an email from my lawyer that said, your case is pending with the service center. Hold tight for more information. Now, when you get an email from your lawyer, anytime your senses go up, and when you get an email you don't understand, it's even worse. And so now I'm on forums for bed bugs. I'm on forums what the fuck that email even meant, and I can't email because it's Friday. And so now I'm like, my case is in the service center. It's gone to a special person. It's not going to get approved. I don't have the money to fight, because what happens is you might get declined or you might get request for more evidence, which basically means request for more damn money. I'm like, I don't have it. And so I'm stressed about that now too. And I'm on these forums and I'm reading, and the forums are all saying the same thing. You can throw your shit out. And I'm like, I cannot throw my furniture out. I have nothing left and I am exhausted and this is all I have in the world. I can't throw my furniture out. And I keep reading some more and I find this thing that's called Demetrius earth. Definitely pronouncing it wrong, but it's this powder that's actually put in wheat to kill bugs, and it's not like a pesticide where they can grow resistant to them. It murders these motherfuckers. Like, it is like tiny pieces of glass that just shred their shit on up, and they don't know it until they've walked through it. So I went and bought that earth and sprinkled it all around my apartment. I made this into ground zero, and my last night sleeping here was Saturday night, because that was just the day of all days. I was so crazy that I covered my body in 91% rubbing alcohol, because that's what keeps them away. And I sprinkled this powder around me like I was a sacrificial lamb. And I laid there and I was like, I fucking dare you. Like, come and eat me and die. Die. Let this be your last supper. Sure enough, a couple of them did bite me. Don't get me wrong. Some of them made it through. But that was my last night there, and that was my last experience with bed bugs after that. Because on the Sunday, Maya, whom was in Chicago because her granny died, someone very special to her. And so my best friend in LA wasn't here during this time. And so I really went through it alone. And if it wasn't for my family, who was just there sending me pictures constantly. I sent them updates on my bike every single day, telling me where to go, what to buy. That very special dude in my life, just being there for me, taking me to Walgreens to get the right cream, sending me to the doctor saying, you have to go. He actually was the one who came and drew my bed out with me, and we were both like, enough is enough, this has to go. And I had to learn to let go. My beautiful couch, which I love, has to go. I just had to let go of the things that were slowly poisoning me because my mental health, honestly, at this point was at stake. And Maya comes home on Sunday after a week of planning a funeral for her granny and going through so much, and she gave me her home as well too and said, "Come and stay with me." If you know how risky bed bugs are and how much they can change your entire life like that, if you read the forums, they take years to get out sometimes. They crawl all over. They multiply so quickly. They only have to eat once a year, so you can't even really starve them out. But Maya made that risk, and she brought me in, and she literally took me to Target and like bought me clothes.
Oh, wow, Shannon. I can see why all of that is on your mind. And it's good to get it off your chest, huh? Well, that's what this podcast is all about. We sure appreciate you having you on the show as our first guest. Thanks so much. There'll be many more guests to come. So you guys keep tuning in. And of course, if you'd like to share a story, you can record some audio, and send it to me, okay? At gspin236 at gmail.com. That's gspin236 at gmail.com. But definitely support this podcast so we can keep bringing you all the goodies, huh? And the thing with this is it's audio. So you can listen to it while you're driving or just wherever you're at, or if you're walking somewhere, just, audio, you can listen at any time. So that's the great thing about this. So it's going to get more and more interesting and more serious and more deep and more fun and comedic at times as well. So we're going to give you a variety here. Thank you so much for checking out the podcast, and please support us once again so we can keep growing it and keep bringing it to you. Okay. Once again, it's the Say What's on Your Mind podcast, and we'll talk to you next time.